Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And this movie came out in 2001, and it was directed by Chris Columbus, and he's the same director as Home Alone. That's the biggest movie that I know that he directed beforehand. I used to watch this movie a lot when I was a kid, and I never read any of the books. I think I tried reading the fourth book at some point, but I just gave up because I had other things I needed to do, like schoolwork and stuff like that, and never read any of these books. And these movies I had a connection with, or at least in the first half. The second half of this story, like from Order of the Phoenix all the way up to the end, I don't really remember much, mostly because it didn't connect with me as much. But these first four movies, I remember really enjoying, and I watched them all the time as a kid. Whereas the rest of them, not so much. But enough about that. What are my thoughts on the actual movie itself? The Sorcerer's Stone, the one that started it all. And I guess now it's called the Philosopher's Stone. Some people are calling it, like Letterboxd is calling it the Philosopher's Stone. And not sure why that's happening, but I'm just calling it what it was called when it was first released. Or at least what's on the cover for this movie. Sorcerer's Stone. I liked it still. I thought it was a good movie. I was kind of afraid that I'll walk away thinking that really wasn't all that good. And that's something that was like making me hesitate to come back to these films is like, do I really want to rewatch these and find out that they're just not all that good? But fortunately, this first one was good. There were things that I really liked about this movie. I like the music. It's pretty iconic, composed by John Williams. But one thing that kind of bugged me about the music in this movie, and this is not something that I would have noticed the first time I was watching the movie, is that I do feel as though the movie is overused and overpresent in plenty of scenes where it kind of ruins the music a little bit. To where I was like, okay, we're just playing these same themes over and over and over again. And can we just stop using the music altogether for a little bit? And I just felt as though that would have benefited the movie a little bit, at the very least. And the acting from the adult actors, I thought was really, really good. I don't think there's any performances from the adult actors that I thought were bad. And I liked the tone of the movie. I liked the nice, goofy tone that we got. And it made it a lot more playful and fun. And it also mixes serious elements in there too. But I do feel as though this movie struck a good balance between those two, and I love the designs of everything. It's very creative and fun, and this movie does really great world building as well, and you get a good sense of how things operate, but not too much to where it just starts to become confusing, which it can easily become confusing. But I don't feel as though this movie is one of the ones that falls under that category where there's just too much, where it's just like, I can't pay attention anymore or take it seriously. There were definitely some memorable scenes. One of my favorite scenes was buying the wand scene. That was pretty fun. And there's some likable characters in this movie as well. And I liked Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley. They were entertaining characters at the very least. Like, I didn't hate their characters. However, where I kind of start to get into my issues a little bit is that I didn't really buy any of the child actors in this movie. I thought that they were pretty weak, honestly. Most notably, Emma Watson. I thought she was pretty bad in this film. I just never believed that she was playing a character. Like, every line she delivered just felt like it was delivered exactly the same, like she's reading off of a script. And not being a character, and it was very distracting. And the child performances work best for me when they're not talking. Rupert Grint, I kind of had similar problems with his performance in this movie as well. Not that I hate the character Ron Weasley, it's just that his performance was pretty flat, and Daniel Radcliffe was the only one who I didn't hate. I'm not saying he was great, but I felt like I was kind of watching a character. I wasn't pulled out of his performance all that much. And also, one thing that's kind of dated about this movie are the visual effects. When they're at nighttime sequences, they work for me. In the daytime, not so much, most notably during the Quidditch scene. That's when they look the worst. But Anyways, going back to some other positives that I do have with this movie, my favorite character in this whole movie was Hagrid. I love Hagrid. He's entertaining, he's funny, and just a very likable character overall. And one thing that kind of caught me off guard about this movie is how things got reincorporated. I just wasn't expecting it as much, and I was like, oh, this happened, and I kind of like this as a payoff. This movie has plenty of good scenes, and for a movie that's 2.5 hours long, I didn't really feel the runtime, really. So that's something to praise about this movie, is that 2.5 hours, and it flies by, even if it's pretty flawed. The pacing is not my issue with this movie. But going back to my issues with this film, because I do still have a few, there were times where I felt as though the shots were just way too close and I couldn't make out to the environment where characters were in, or shots were just uncomfortably close to people's faces. I was like, pull it back. Let me breathe a little bit. It's not like an intense scene that we're in. Like all the time when we get close-ups on faces. Like, it was just kind of distracting. And there's plenty of plot holes and things that just don't make sense story-wise in this movie. Those elements of the movie kind of made it look like this movie was a rushed product in a sense, because they just threw some things in there that didn't really make all that much sense in the grand scheme of things. And because of that, it just makes it feel like, I don't know if you really planned all of this out. Like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings level of planning out pre-production type thing. It just doesn't show on the screen, in my opinion. And there were some scenes in this movie that felt like they were cut short, like they were originally a lot longer than what we wound up getting, but instead we got like a very short version. Like when Ron and Harry show up to class so late, that's like a scene that's like a minute long and just didn't feel like it served any purpose in the movie at all. Like if that was cut out of the movie would be no different. And there are a few scenes like that in this movie where I just feel like maybe there's some information missing that we're just not getting. And that's about all I have to say about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It was good. I enjoyed rewatching it. I had a good time with it. I was thoroughly entertained. There's plenty of likable characters in this movie. And there's a lot that I took away from it. There are plenty of things that bugged me about it. There's plenty of films that I feel are just like a lot better than this, that I'll probably come back to a lot sooner than this. But in terms of like book to film adaptations, one thing to bring up is Aragon, because that movie is just a mess and has like nothing going for it. Whereas this one, it felt like people not only tried to make a good movie, but it paid off. It was very successful. And I would recommend that you check this movie out if you haven't already. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for a Minecraft movie. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.